Poll question, Seton. Which one are we going with?
It's just coming up with a new one, Dan, actually.
Oh.
Worst decision this weekend.
Okay.
DJ Moore taking his helmet off. That was a bad decision.
Yeah, it was.
That was, kicker still should have been able to make that, but that was a bad decision.
Okay, the rule says you can't take your helmet off during a celebration. The rule also says you can't take your helmet off during the field of play. But if he's outside of the end zone, is he outside the field of play?
Does the end zone extend in perpetuity? Essentially invisible lines all the way through and maybe up until the stands.
Yes, Paul.
People are using that as kind of like a semantics thing that maybe if he was technically out of the end zone, can he celebrate? But the game was still going on. It wasn't like, was it Diggs a few years ago threw his helmet on that play, but the game was technically over. And it was part of his celebration. He jumped in the stands and started yelling at people. And, the other team had the option to enforce it on the extra point.
But also they could choose if they wanted to take it on the extra point or on the kickoff. And they decided to move the kicker back 15 yards on the extra point instead of getting 15 yards on the kickoff. I thought that was, very, very smart gamesmanship there. Because now all of a sudden it's not a chip shot. Now you're kicking close to a 40-yard extra point. Yeah, Paulie.
DJ Moore's on the sidelines, and I wish they would have had a split screen on Pinheiro when he goes to line up for the extra point. And they just showed that's got to be a lonely feeling. Probably the greatest player of your career. DJ Moore is a good player, but probably the biggest player of your career gets, he took his own play down.
Those Falcons, those pesky Falcons, the NFC South up for grabs. Who wants it? Nobody has a winning record, though, but who wants it? The NFC South. You can have it. Yeah, Marv.
The Coach of the Year talk, it's not just Brian Daboll anymore. Arthur Smith, Pete Carroll, you got a couple of other candidates now.
It's got to be Pete Carroll. It's got to be Pete Carroll.
Geno Smith era rolls on. Let's go.
I know. I saw
Papa Geno.
I saw where there was a column written and it had MVP candidates. And, you had Josh Allen in there. You had Patrick Mahomes in there, Jalen Hurts. And I saw Geno Smith and I go, hold on here. Hold on. I'd have Micah Parsons well before I would have Geno Smith. Geno's a nice story. And Pete Carroll's having a great time because he got rid of Russ. He got a king's ransom for him. And they're playing well right now. Yeah, Paul.
Parsons picked up a fumble. Nobody touched him, and he had the wherewithal to run it back for a touchdown. But people jumped over him. Geno Smith, he's 5-3 as a starter this year. He's a 73% passer, leading the league. 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions.
Nice.
Those aren't cute numbers. Those are real numbers.
Played well. Yeah, Marv.
Making the Pro Bowl would be big, like one of the 3 original NFC guys. But I don't know about MVP. That sounds like he got to be Jalen Hurts type. They got to be undefeated. They got to go, 13-4 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's a nice story, but I don't think it's MVP-like story. Certainly not now. Yeah, Paulie?
Well, I would say that before the season, we talked about them tanking as a franchise by going with Geno Smith and Drew Lock. Are they tanking? You could find articles that Seattle.
Oh, sure.
And if he somehow gets 27 touchdowns and 8 picks and makes the playoffs, which is more of a surprising story?
Well, surprising, but
like Kurt Warner.
In the bigger picture, when you look at MVP, most valuable player, you got to be, it feels like, a threat to win it all. Feels like you have to be in the conversation of, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. And even Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, to me, with what he's done, that was the big question mark. This was supposed to be, remember they got draft picks? We thought, well, if it doesn't work out, they can kind of couple those draft picks and go up higher and get a quarterback. That was the conversation in the offseason with Jalen Hurts. Hurts has played well, and the Eagles look like, if not the best team, the second best team in football. Yes, Eaton.
Seahawks wide receivers had some big drops yesterday, too. That Tyler Lockett, that's a short touchdown. I want to say there's a few others in the game, too, that you could tell Geno Smith was like, after Tyler Lockett, he had a couple of big errors, went over to him and was like comforting, like, hey, man, don't worry about it, shake it off kind of thing. But DJ Metcalf had another drop, and Geno didn't seem all that pleased about that one.
Oh. So you're kind of making this about Geno overcoming his wide receivers.
His wide receivers, yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. The dropsies. Yes, Paul.
Mahomes, by the way, is on pace right now for 45 touchdowns and 11 picks.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. But it's Josh Allen's award to lose. And the number of players who comment during the game on Josh Allen, who are watching the game, that's what's always interesting. Because players know players. And when they're like, oh my God, this guy's the GOAT. And when they are willing to compliment somebody who's not playing on their team, that usually stands out. That jumps out for me when I go, okay. Yeah, Marv.
Do you have an MVP right now?
I would say Josh Allen, but I'd have no problem if somebody said Jalen Hurts is the leading candidate for MVP. It's just, we got 8 more games. What do we got? At 8 games now? So we're almost halfway home. That's a lot. I mean, look at what's happened in eight weeks. There's a lot that's happened. And then is somebody going to turn it around, figure it out? Is there a team that's sort of lingering that's going to go, we can win this? You know, maybe it's the Vikings who look at the NFC. You know, what happens to the Rams? You know, the Rams, are they going to be formidable? Cooper Kupp got hurt at the end of the game, which I don't know why. Even if he's in there, don't throw him the ball. Like there was no, the game's over. Don't have him take another hit. And I know it may sound like, well, you're looking at the end result. I am. But watching the game, and they threw it to him, and I thought, that feels like they're just going for stats. And then he didn't get up. And then I went, that's going to cost him. And then I wonder if they're going to be in the OBJ sweepstakes. Because I think there was a couple of weeks ago where I said, I don't think they've committed to OBJ because I don't know if they've committed to how good this team is going to be this year. You got one weapon. That's it. Cooper Kupp. And do you want to get OBJ? If you get him, what's it going to cost you? What's your record going to be when you pick him up? And if you're Green Bay, what are you doing at the trade deadline? Anything? Can you do anything? Will they do anything? And does OBJ factor in with Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? Because they are both desperate right now.